168. But for us, or in itself, the object which for self-consciousness is the negative element has, on its side, returned into itself, just as on the other side consciousness has done. Through this reflection into itself, the object has become life. What self-consciousness distinguishes from itself as having being, also has in it, insofar as it is posited as being, not merely the character of sense certainty and perception, but it is being that is reflected into itself, and the object of immediate desire is a living thing. For the in itself, or the universal result of the relation of the understanding to the inwardness of things, is the distinguishing of what is not to be distinguished, or the unity of what is to be distinguished. But this unity is, as we have seen, just as much its repulsion from itself, and this notion sunders itself into the antithesis of self-consciousness and life. The former is a unity for which the infinite unity of the differences is. The latter, however, is only this unity itself, so that it is not at the same time for itself. To the extent, then, that consciousness is independent, so too is its object, but only implicitly. Self-consciousness, which is simply for itself and directly characterizes its object as a negative element, or is primarily desire, will therefore, on the contrary, learn through experience that the object is independent. 169. The determination of life as it has issued from the notion, or the general result with which we enter the sphere, is sufficient to characterize it without having further to develop its nature. Its sphere is completely determined in the following moments. Essence is infinity as a supersession of all distinctions, the pure movement of axial rotation, its self-repose being an absolutely restless infinity. Independence itself, in which the differences of the movement are resolved, the simple essence of time, which, in this equality with itself, has a stable shape of space. The differences, however, are just as much present as differences in the simple universal medium, for this universal flux has its negative nature only in being the supersession of them, but it cannot supersede the different moments if they do not have an enduring existence, bestehen. It is this very flux, as a self-identical independence which is itself an enduring existence, in which, therefore, they are present as distinct members and parts existing on their own account. Being no longer has the significance of abstract being, nor has their pure essentiality the significance of abstract universality. On the contrary, their being is precisely that simple fluid substance of pure movement within itself. The difference, however, qua difference, of these members with respect to one another consists in general in no other determinateness than that of the moments of infinity, or of the pure movement itself. 170. The independent members are for themselves, but this being for self is really no less immediately the reflection into the unity than this unity is the splitting up into independent shapes. The unity is divided within itself because it is an absolutely negative or infinite unity. And because it is what subsists, the difference too has independence only in it. This independence of the shape appears as something determinate. For in other, the shape is divided within itself, and the supersession of this dividedness accordingly takes place through an other. But this supersession is just as much within the shape itself, for it is just that flux that is the substance of the independent shapes. This substance, however, is infinite, and hence the shape in its very subsistence is a dividedness within itself, or the supersession of its being in itself.